with here. So we have got the first bands coming in. I will be absolutely quiet in this one because I'm in the presence of Dota royalty. You run point on it, guys.
Winter Wyvern.
Yeah.
This was a hero that you were playing a ton leading up to this event.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's still just that top tier pick no matter what? Why haven't we seen as much?
I think Wyvern is a really powerful hero. Wyvern has multiple assets that are, like in Dota right now, some of the most important things is being able to wave clear. So you need to be able to play your lanes, you need to be able to wave clear, and you need to be able to fight in some form. And Wyvern has these amazing abilities. It has good wave clear. It's a pretty strong laner. It's not like the best, but it's still very good. It has a teamfight ability that either is like this killing spell, or it's just a 5-second BKB pierce. Like you just throw this on a BKB guy and you feel like, okay, I just wasted his BKB with a curse, which is already really good. In the last game we saw them use it together with Tinies to set up the Tiny combos. That's very nice, like when you can do that. So, and on top of all of this, it also has a save. So the hero just, it's a very flexible pick, and I think the way you attack this as Serenity is really smart. I think you get a lot of magic damage, you get bursts, so the Cold Embrace is not that useful, and you're able to match them in team fights so far. You get the Phoenix and Tiny who can definitely match, so I like this from Serenity. I think it's a good response.
It's like he brings so many tools to the table that you feel like you can't answer all of them.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's hard to pick into Wyvern and make Wyvern useless. I think that's almost impossible. That's why it's such a nice pick. Oh, on top of everything I just said, it can also play core, by the way. You can put it position 3. So that helps too. It's also even a flex pick.
And it's got really good combo, right? You already talked about the Winter Wyvern setting up the Tiny. We also had it with the Phantom Lancer, right? Just burning out heroes' mana, even if they're not taking damage.
We had it with Slark yesterday, actually.
Yeah, you guys had it with Slark. There was also a Huskar earlier on in this tournament, right? You just stack up Burning Spears. He all of a sudden comes out of Winter's Curse. He's taking billions of damage. Mirana Arrow.
Yep.
There's another great combo.
That's another standard combo. I think this is a good first phase from both teams. I don't really want to call a clear first phase winner, if you will, on this. Final Tribe definitely has some possibilities. I think a hero to look out for Serenity right now is Drow. Drow with both Mirana and Wyvern is very strong. It's a hero that Final Tribe do play. So I think it's definitely on Serenity's minds right now. And if they don't ban it, I think it's a bait. And they want Final Tribe to go for it, and they have like a counter pick. But one of Serenity's best counter picks in general, Chaos Knight, is already banned. So there's other options. Drow is definitely a strong hero. We've seen it a lot in top tier Dota, winning a lot of games, being picked very early.
You're not concerned about that bit of the nerf that happened recently?
Well, it's 5 agility on the ulti, right?
Yeah. Just a little less team damage all around. It seems like it wouldn't be much. And I also thought the tree wouldn't really disappear, but I didn't see that much.
Yeah. I don't really think the Treant nerf is the reason it's not as popular. I think it's very much about player preference, and so a team, for example, that I've been watching that play a lot of Treant is NIP, with PPD playing the Treant a lot. I think he kind of doesn't care. I think he's going to play it anyway. It's like, it's a little bit worse, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
The primary asset of the hero is its ability to walk around in Invis and Ward, Living Armor, and the ulti. Leech Seed being a little bit less strong in lane. It's like, how much is it? It was like 15 to 12 per tick, I think, level 1. I mean, it's something. Yeah, it's 20% worse, but it's still good enough.
It was significantly less in the later levels, right? Is that how?
Maybe, but generally you don't max Leech Seed on Treant anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
Most of the Treant builds, if you play it core, you generally max Living Armor, and if you play it support, you often at least see them max the Nature's Guise. So
yeah.
It's always the secondary skill.
This has been the other little dynamic that we've seen existing is like zone control area stuff. And you've got like the Wyvern and the Undying, which do it really well. It means that there's areas of the map you just can't go into, and then Phoenix on the other side. Yeah. The thing that I kind of find interesting about Serenity's draft, and I was talking to Laposa about it, Lelis, is that he was saying that Serenity tend to take like 2-5 positions, it feels like, pretty consistently in their drafts. Which I don't know if that's just because they have been playing like PYW on this Tiny that likes to go around and get kills, and then they just need saves from the others, or what it is.
I think Phoenix is almost, in a way, it's almost a 4 when it's a 5, right? And its impact in the game. The hero with no items can do ridiculous amounts of damage if it's played well and has the right core matchups, especially that it's facing. So I think this support duo that they have is really good. It has catch, it has strong laning, and it has the team fight. So, but I agree overall, like Serenity probably plays less standard 4s in a way than other teams do. They have their own style. It's not one way of playing Dota, obviously. Like this Lina pick, it's a way of killing Tombstone. More magic damage in Cold Embrace. Cold Embrace sucks this game. It's actually really bad. You might want to go 4-4-0 on Wyvern in this game, which I think is very rare that you do, but they have actually just made Cold Embrace so useless. It does almost nothing. And sometimes even the temptation of casting it can be worse than not using it.
Whoa! There it is.
That is very surprising. I thought they were going to go for the draw.
This is the edge up that you were talking about, though, or that we were both talking about. Like,
Yeah, it's a curveball. Now there's questions if it's a good Meepo game, because Meepo is pretty good against Phoenix. It kills the Supernova very quickly.
Yeah.
But when I think of Meepo, I look out for like 3 things. First of all, does he have a good lane matchup? Probably not.
No.
He's playing against Lina. I don't think that's an easy lane for Meepo, especially not in the first like 2 or 3 levels. Then the second thing is, can the enemy team control him when he poofs his Meepos together? Yes, they can. They have Avalanche, they have Lina Stun, and they have the Phoenix with other AoE abilities that are annoying. Even the move speed slow from Icarus Dive can actually be really annoying for Meepo. And then the last thing is, does the enemy team have single target burst? Like, because when it comes to Meepo, if you can just kill one of them, then it doesn't really matter. And Team Serenity, do they have single target burst? I feel like that question just answers itself. They have tiny Lina and Bane. Yes, they do. So personally, I don't really like this pick very much, but they picked it relatively quickly, right? Or is their bonus time actually 0 on Final Try? Or is that a graphics thing?
I think that they just picked it instantly.
It felt to me like they picked it fast. Maybe time flies when you're having fun on the pen.
It's our enjoyable company.
Yeah, it's great. I'm loving this.
so
Now
long.
Richard isn't talking. I'm having so much fun.
I personally don't like the Meepo. I thought they were going to pick like a pipe builder, basically, because
Pipe
we
would've
have
been good.
such an emphasis on this magic damage in order to kind of deal with the cold embrace in some ways. But
And the other option is that they commit for that Drow that it really looked like they were setting up. Because I actually think Drow Undying is a very good lane. Drow is a very weak laner, so she wants this like boss to stand in front that can just be tanky and zone off enemy heroes. Or you put the Drow mid. Putting Drow mid against Lina, I think, is not very advisable, but putting it with Undying should be.
So let me sell you on this Meepo right here.
Okay.
All right. In the macro sense of the best of the macro sense of the best of 3,
Again,
right?
I can't say it. I can't say it.
What you got here is, if we win with this, then what do they do next game?
True.
Now,
It's
I don't
bold.
know how they do that first part. I don't know how they win this, but if they manage to make it happen, does that sell you?
Meepo is just this special hero where you can look at the draft and you can be like, this is a hard Meepo game, but it just takes that 1 or 2 moments. Like, Meepo can be super explosive. Even when it's a bad Meepo game, you find the right opportunity, you get like 4 kills in a row shot. So I'm just I was kind of looking at this with a glass half empty mentality here that, oh, there's so many problems. But with Meepo, if you have the right player in the right situations, it can do stuff. It's not like the game is like, oh, Meepo's horrible.
Right.
But
That's the
it's
hero I
definitely-
wanted
it's
right
not
there.
the standard Meepo position. Generally, you pick at 22, so the absolute last pick of the draft, and you generally pick it in better matchups than this. That's what I think. So for me, almost, I'm going to say no matter what Serenity last pick, I favor them this game. But yeah, Meepo with a great moment can do it. It's not out of the question.
Get your Centaur Ags. Keep them alive.
yeah, you're going to have Centaur Pipe, Centaur Ags. It also helps you with being able to get on top of these heroes, gives you a little bit of extra burst damage. I think it's just all about being able to get that first Roshan for the Meepo and then be able to transition into the Scythe of Ice.
Does
So you have
Stampede
this,
work
like-
on every single Meepo separately, so they all deal damage when they run over someone? Hopefully not.
That seems
That would be really
consistent.
stupid. That would be really stupidly strong. I don't think it does. I feel like I would have known about it if it did.
All the little
I
feet
know.
trampling over you.
That would be something. I don't think it works that way. I think it's just either it only works on the main Meepo. Maybe do the clones even get Stampede? I don't play Meepo, as you can tell. I think it works on all of them, but I think only one of them deals damage when it runs over. That's my guess.
So
I'm just
what-
going to let you keep answering your own question. That way I don't have
What was
to...
the last pick, by the way?
Well, then you cover it up.
Monkey.
It was Monkey
Monkey
King
King, right.
was the
Yeah,
last one.
Okay.
So how do we feel the drafts went, guys? Who won overall?
I favor Serenity for sure. I also think this Monkey King last pick is nice because it has multiple good lane matchups. Meepo or Centaur are 2 of the lanes from Final Tribe. So yeah, to make it simple and fast, I'm with Serenity on this.
Oh, you don't need to make it faster. You know, we never know what's going to happen. So don't worry about that. It's a bit of a lottery, right? I've never heard you guys so quiet as well, as if you get intimidated when Cinderen's around.
Of course
It's
no.
He's got
I-
this big, beautiful
I like
brain.
listening to Synderen.
Yeah, is that what it is?
It takes me back to the times where I was watching Toby Synderen on Join Dota Cast and being able to learn from Synderen. But
Yeah.
I hate the Meepo here. I mean,
Okay, that's
Let's
There
go,
we go.
Meepo.
word,
There
but
we go.
I mean, it's the last pick, Monkey King, just I think sets it up perfectly where there is absolutely no laning phase that Meepo, like no lane partner he's going to be happy with, right? And the Monkey King just gives you another source of like kind of this zone control area where the Meepo's just not going to feel comfortable getting into. They had this Undying Tombstone they thought was going to be able to combat the Supernova effect basically in some ways, kind of like this battling zone. Now the Monkey King is like the trump card in that regard.
Actually,
yes.
In Monkey King ulti, he hits all of the Meepos, right?
Well, no, all the
Does it only hit
the statue only swings once on a target.
Yeah,
right?
but it counts all the Meepos as a hero. It counts as a valid target, right? It will hit the clones.
Yes, so it means the damage is separated.
So if you go Maelstrom on Monkey King and Meepo is in the area, there's literally lightning everywhere. I'm not joking. This is actually
insane theory.
This should be really.
I mean, that's my call.
What happens if he gets lifesteal and he hits Q?
We can carry this.
We
can carry this on offline because now it is time to get into the game. Team Serenity versus the Final Tribe. Take it away, Moxie and Breaky CPK.
Well, if TFT is going to go out here in game number 2 down 1-0, they're going to go out swinging. They're going to go out in style, that's for sure. But obviously the hope is that they can continue on and move on to a game 3, and they're going to do it with Meepo. At least that's the idea, Moxie.
Yeah, there's some serious hate for that Meepo on the panel. My goodness.
To be fair, I think there's obviously good logic behind that.
Yeah, understood. But you know, like it feels kind of bad to like immediately just be like, yeah, absolutely not. I hate it. You know.
Yeah.
You never know. We could see some miracles come out here.
Well, the biggest thing about this hero, right, is that yes, on paper the counters are there. You mentioned the heavy burst damage that they have, especially with both the Lina and the Tiny, but if he can find his way around that, Meepo, most certainly when it comes to a snowball factor, is up there with the best of them in the game, and he will take over the game. By 30 minutes, the game could be over. That's what you're looking for if you're if you're the Final Tribe here, I think in a lot of ways. Now again, it's not going to be an easy task, but you don't do this final pick Meepo essentially unless you're very confident, which clearly they are, in the hands of Chessie.
Yeah, I feel like this is either going to be one of those really like exciting hype games, or they're just going to shut down this Meepo super duper hard here. So, I mean, it should be exciting, you know. We've got, oh no, this is not looking great here for Tiny. Gets arrowed up, it's getting slowed down as well. Trying to run himself back. A little bit of body block coming out. Phoenix coming forward here. Looks like he's actually going to be able to make it out, though.
Yeah, we'll escape. Good attempt from Jonathan Fan, but just too much of a getaway from Tiny. Not enough lockdown, really, on the dire side there. So, good getaway. Stays alive. We'll get back to the tower at least. But the bounty runes down here are going to be taken by TFT. Naturally, the top 2 will be in the hands of Serenity. Remember, the first game, it was a 3-1 favor for Serenity. Not saying that's why they won the game by any means, but the point is TFT this time around can feel a little bit better about the start at least. But naturally also Meepo heading towards that middle lane, and so you'd expect him to be at least, as he is going to just let the creep wave pass on by, going up against that Monkey King, though, here in this middle matchup.
I like the I like the courier here. I love it a lot here. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting matchup for sure here in this middle lane.
So getting that Monkey King to match up against the Meepo, it makes a lot of sense, right? He loves these melee matchups, especially being able to apply that Jingu Mastery, or more so get the buff from the Jingu Mastery. Just hits Meepo over and over again. Easily can avoid the poof right there. This seems like it's definitely going to be a tough one for Meepo. Now, when it comes to his armor, he has a fair amount, the 7 naturally, that he has to work with, but no doubt Monkey King, this is what Serenity wanted in terms of the matchup, and they're getting it.
Yeah, I'm definitely very much favoring this draft coming out from Serenity. I like it a lot here. I like, you know, again, we talked about, you know, Chessie's going to have a really, really rough game. You've got the Laguna burst damage that's going to be coming out from, of course, you know, the Lina. You've got a Tiny, and we've seen Neil on this Tiny before. Like, this guy is serious business, and he's going to be hunting that Meepo, I feel, constantly once he gets to that certain point. So pretty scary stuff here, but again, miracles can happen. You never know. It is a Meepo.
Understandably, there's a lot of focus on Meepo here.
I know.
For being this star hero that we just never get to see. No, hey, I'm not against that by any means, but we do see on the screen. We got the Tiny matched up against the Centaur. Of course, there's a force nearby. Undying Centaur does seem like a pretty brutal lane combination. Hell, Undying with really any core is usually going to be a pretty annoying combination to go up against. Of course, it goes without saying. However, I will say Serenity is doing a very good job of staying spread out. That's just naturally what you want to do, of course. Make sure you're not getting hit by that double decay. And right now, Phoenix specifically is doing a good job of that, also putting in as much damage as he can into Undying in return. The top lane, similar story. Just a lot of back and forth harassment. Not really any signs of kills coming out, although this is an aggressive Lina with the Bane up here, of course, because of how the matchup's set up. So not something you see too often. You expect to see Lina, of course, in that middle lane as a core role. But instead of running her up top, Lina so far 7 and 5. feeling like a pretty good start here.
Yeah, definitely. You've got some really nice setup coming out from the Bane, of course, with the Nightmare into Light Strike Array. So pretty scary stuff, and especially, too, you've got this Winter Wyvern that has the, you know, the Cold Embrace, going to try to keep people alive. Oh, here we go. There's the setup. It's going to spend a little time. Light Strike Array comes through. They've got a couple clicks left here with the Bane. They need a little bit more damage, but there it is. There's the first blood.
Yeah, the arrow missed from Frost. He was trying to at least get the arrow in there to save, to do his best to save, of course, the support of Winter Wyvern, but unfortunately not connecting. Either way, not going to save the Wyvern, and that's the first blood strikes in favor of Serenity. So bottom lane, you have the Invis Undying heading down here. He managed to get that 2-minute Invis rune. I don't know if there's necessarily a whole lot he's going to be able to do with this Invis rune, but the point is he takes it away from somebody else getting it. So still a minor victory for TFT. He's going to open, oh, I guess there you go. He gets a double decay out of it, as I was just talking about that earlier. So making the setup, but no doubt that mid lane, once again, the focus of attention. Meepo is level 3, does have the second Meepo. Is going to put the nets up on a Monkey King. ZPYW gets picked off, by the way, but back to the middle lane. Monkey King, okay, it's going to be fine even. They were clashing back and forth right there. But yeah, Tiny, he ends up falling at the bottom.
Unorthodox, but effective.
Monkey King almost level 5 himself. That's the other thing with the Meepo, by the way, is not only expect some decent farm, of course, but the good pace really is that level per minute, right, on this hero. And right now it's level 4 as we're hitting the 4-minute mark. So as long as he can keep that pace up, that's a sign that things are going well for the Final Tribe.
So what's the best bet here? Because it feels like him going over into that lane is pretty suspect for him. And I know you're already seeing, you know, this rotation coming out here from the Bane. They're taking a look, trying to make sure that they can grab the runes. So we'll get the illusion in the bottom and do some scouting here. I feel like they're going to keep putting the pressure up over onto Chessie, because the other lanes are going pretty well right now for Serenity. Yeah. Did lose Neil earlier, but
again, it's understandable that Meepo finding himself in the jungle. This is kind of what Meepo's would tend to do anyways, but in that matchup against a Monkey King specifically, as you're getting at, it is just a brutal one. His top lane, Hanskin, well, no, he actually ends up just suiciding, I guess, but at the top lane, you have Mirana almost dying there. Manages to leap away in time, though.
This is such a dirty lane, again, with that Nightmare setup into the Light Strike Array. You know, it's kind of like similarly, you used to see a lot of like the Mirana and the Bane combo coming out for that setup. It's just so nice. It's definitely going to be a struggle, though, for them to deal with because, you know, they have the magic damage to deal with that Cold Embrace, too, so they can't even use that as a save.
5-minute bounty runes are coming up. Chessie is doing a stack in the meantime. Going to run into the Bane as he heads over towards the bounty rune, puts his snare down, and is going to be enough to secure the kill onto Bane. So well played by Chessie, just happened to be the perfect timing as far as catching him. And we'll go back to farming in that jungle with a nice stack he had before. Again, he's doing a decent job so far with that efficiency on the Meepo. But net worth, you take a look at that chart, it is right now a lead Monkey King favored, 2,600 net worth for him. Like I said, no surprise. And what is Monkey King going to be going for? Ring of Acula first. Wouldn't be surprised, you know, Shadow Blade, maybe even that Echo Saber.
Yeah, the Echo Saber is pretty important, right, to keep them within the Wukong's command, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Could go for like a little bit more of, you know, sneaking around sort of thing. But bottom lane, actually, we do see that the Phoenix gets taken down here. Both of these guys sitting a little bit low. Actually using a salve over on Jonas, though. But it looks like Hanskin going to back himself out.
Monkey, he finds Chessie in the jungle. Doesn't look like he's going to try to make a play with it, though. He's just getting some information, if anything. He's level 6 now, but no Wukong's yet, of course, not leveling it up. Either way, he picks up an Invis rune and it's going to head back towards the middle instead. So I suppose just wanted to get eyes on Chessie, see where he's at, see what he's doing. In the meantime, bottom, you got Centaur getting a little bit lower. Neil trying to get his attention over to that Undying. They Grist at 4, trying to slow him down, but I don't think Tiny's going to get close enough, or maybe he is. Avalanche in 5 more seconds. So not off cooldown in time. And having to fall back. But yeah, going back to the Monkey King too, Cinnamon did bring up a good point about the whole Maelstrom possibility on this hero in that Meepo matchup. That could be fun to see, so we'll keep an eye and see what he decides to queue up here.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they're not putting more pressure over here onto Chessie because they know that he's going to be just moving around the entire time trying to farm up. Can't stay here against this Monkey King. We do see some scouting coming out. Era just kind of hanging out here by the tower, wants to get some of that experience. But Serenity, you know, these lanes seem to be going very well again. Like we said, this Monkey King leading top net worth. The setup up here is very, very scary, right, coming out from ZYD. And, of course, the Bane, so they have to play a little bit further back. It's kind of interesting the way this is all shaping out. And Phoenix coming over here into the mid lane. Gonna hop back down. We'll be able to land the Icarus dive over here onto Era. will try to get that Arctic burn to get away. Oh, but they've got the Sunray. Oh, there's going to be the Boundless and a little bit more damage. XCG, sorry, Jay, going to be able to get that kill.
Wyvern, the only reason...
Chessie? They've got the Jingu still up, but...
Yeah, that could have been scary.
For sure.
We'll manage to make it out. Those are Earthbind. But going back to the Wyvern, the only reason he's there is because, again, Chessie's been finding himself jungling, so they're trying to get some experience for this Winter Wyvern. But that was well played by Serenity. They pick up on that. They're like, we're not just going to let this Wyvern soak up experience. I have a level 8 Monkey King now. In this case, let's take full advantage. Let's get that dive out and know that there's nothing he's going to be able to do. And Meeple's not necessarily looking to pick these fights either at this point in this game. Of course, he wants to get to his own levels, get that farm, which, by the way, he's level 6 right now. Almost level 7 as we are 8 minutes into this game, so falling a little bit behind pace is what he would want, but it's not definitely you know, the worst thing ever either at this time. But this is a free middle tower push right now, it's almost feeling like.
Yeah, I don't feel like they can really go forward on this Wyvern right now. Only sitting at level 4, trying to just use some of that Splinter Blast. Will actually go use that Moonlight Shadow, see if they can get into a good position. The Mirana and the Meepo making their way down, but already Monkey King just going to go tree dance himself out of here.
Hopping around. Again, maybe found on Die, not much you can do, but Meepo, he could. They cut down the tree of the Tombstone. They get the stun. Can they get uphill, though? That's the question. The arrow comes out anyways. Sunray heal. I don't think it's going to be enough. Yeah, it's so low level. They do get the kill. Chessie credit for it with the poofs. Such a good setup there from the Final Tribe to make that happen. It's not over just yet, though. Mirana still could be in some trouble, and in fact is dead from the looks of it. Stampede even activated, but at least they get the turn kill. But I mean, killing Monkey King has to feel pretty good if you're TFT right now.
Absolutely. What are the odds, too? They just happen to figure out, like, oh, let's drop the Tombstone right here, and they manage to take down the trees. They stun them up, and that arrow sliding in at the last second.
I'm sure they saw him hopping around or something. I don't think that was a blind
I don't think it was completely blind, but I mean, it's
you didn't know exactly where he was.
Yeah, exactly. So being able to drop, because, you know, sometimes you'll scout around doing other things, but the Tombstone there was just the icing on the cake.
Absolutely, and the idea of the radius of the amount of trees it destroys, and that's something, again, didn't really think about maybe initially, but that's a great way to help counter this Monkey King.
Absolutely.
Not only does it get that stun off, but then the slows will start adding up in the zombies, etc. Nice answer to the hero, actually. So something to look out for as the game progresses on, and as it progresses on as well, keeping an eye on Chessie and how he's doing on this Meepo. Net worth, again, he's doing all right. Levels, hits level 8. He's got the double Wraith Band as well as some power treads. So now the question is, what direction does he go from here? I feel like there's just so many different styles. The Fuso Blade into Ethereal Blades we see. You know, sometimes we see more of that Blink Scythe style. So interested to see where Chessie goes.
A lot of options here. Looks like they're going to be able to maybe grind. Oh, he's going to be able to get out. He's not going to be able to get that center over in time to cancel out that TP.
2,000 net worth lead overall, though, for the Radiant squad. And Lena, we haven't talked about too much this game, but is farming very well, has heals coming, as ZZZ picks off the top tier 1 tower. And back to the middle, as you notice, Lena just continues that farm. Again, keeping up even with the Monkey King at this point in time. Tiny, a little bit behind pace, but when your other 2 cores are doing as well as they are, I don't think that's a huge concern if you're Serenity. Just needs that blink, really, at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing, too. Like, ZYD, usually we see him playing in that mid lane, was forced, not even forced, really, but they made the decision to send him off over into the off lane to allow the better matchup against Chessie on the Meepo, sending the Monkey King. But, you know, he's still just doing his own thing. He's saving up. He's getting closer and closer to that Yules. And looks like middle lane might have a problem here. Wyvern, Boundless Strike coming through. We'll be able to land the Icarus Strike plus the Dragon Slave, and it's going to be, again, a kill for the Phoenix.
Yeah, once again, taking advantage of Wyvern just kind of being there, trying to soak up as much experience. Era's almost in a spot if he's kind of accepting the fact that that could happen. Does die again, so well played by Serenity, getting that kill, and again, going to try to transition into the tower kill, which it looks like they should be able to. Fortification used just delaying the inevitable. Off to the side, however, Bane got the Fiend's grip up, locking down right there, trying to finish the job on a Meeple. Stampede activated though, running away, gets out of the Wukong's command, and Chessie will be fine for the time being. Jonas Fan also escaping out. That Wukong's not enough damage. A Tombstone thrown down as well, just to kind of keep them away. Now even the Curse thrown out to possibly go for the turn onto Bane. Throwing out a Splinter Blast, not really connecting though, kind of awkward right there. But either way, Bane trying to walk away, throws up the Slave doing what he can. Primal Spring in. Once again, scares off TFT, so somehow nobody dead throughout this fight just yet. As Jonas Fan now running up towards that banner arena where it would spawn if it was that time. However, Laguna Blade to the face of Wyvern. Finally, a death happens, and it goes to Wyvern. After all of that, though, I mean, hell, Meepo survives, so I still think TFT satisfied somewhat. But as I say this, Meepo gets caught in the middle lane now by the LSA. after the Yields throws him up, but Chessie poofs away and will survive yet again.
Man, that was looking just so intense during all of that. I can't believe that, you know, they managed to get Chessie out. They tried to get him one more time and just weren't able to grab him during all of that. And also that Centaur ulti, right? Perfect timing on that to get out of Wukong's command. They just couldn't hold him in place. Otherwise, it was definitely a dead Chessie.
Absolutely. Stampede is, of course, a great answer to that Monkey King Wukong's and helping a hero's escape, as we saw right there. Perfect example with Chessie. Again, keeping an eye on that progress. Is going to Blink Dagger, as far as the priority item at least. So again, where he goes from there, we'll continue to wait and see. See more of that control oriented with the Scythe or possible just damage instead. But Tiny, his own Blink Dagger, 1,400 gold saved up. He is getting close as well. Monkey King bought him. Monkey King's going the Battle Fury. That was another thing, of course, that to think about up against this Meepo. And Monkey King being more of that hard farming core for the team. Choosing the Battle Fury route, I would be curious, honestly, I can't say at the top of my head the decision that over the Maelstrom, but going the Battle Fury, secure more of the late game, I suppose, is what it usually goes back to.
I suppose so. Again, you have multiple Meepos too, so having that little extra bit of cleave, it's going to be pretty nice in dealing with that. But like you said, you know, having that late game a little bit more secured, going to be very nice for this Monkey King. They're grouping up over here in mid though. Are they going to go for a smoke? What do we have? Checking items. I don't see a smoke. They're just grouping up. Going to move around the map. We'll have that Moonlight Shadow up in like a second. So could try to make some plays here.
Yeah, I always find that funny. Yeah, there's the Moonlight Shadows, but when teams kind of group up like that, you like expect the smoke and then it doesn't happen. But obviously Mirana, she's good for this as well. Using those Moonlight. They're going in on Monkey King, open up with the ensnare, and they get the kill off the bat. The Wukong doesn't do a damn thing. He actually did use it right there. Did not cancel it in time, and they catch the Phoenix on top of that with the curse. So great find for TFT, and transition nicely into the bottom tier 1.
And they do manage to get that jump over there. There was no detection, obviously. They weren't expecting that Moonlight Shadow right then and there, but do see a little bit of split pushing coming out from ZYG. Did see the Mirana making that teleport up to the top lane, so we'll back off, but looks like this bottom tower is going down pretty fast right now.
This should easily be a tower kill for them. As mentioned, Lina elsewhere, pushing out top lane. A Shadow Blade queued up for her. Yule's already picked up. The idea that for her, especially now with the Blink coming on Tiny, who basically is about 10 gold away, so we'll be able to purchase it. That's the key, I feel like, for Serenity, of course. The idea of being able to jump Meepo specifically, as put out, you only need to kill one Meepo. They found 2 Meepos right here. The one can both poo-poo out, though. Wow, I thought for sure that one was going down. But Chessie manages to get the poof off just in time.
Yeah, they just needed just a little bit more damage on that, and they would have gotten themselves a kill, but... Yeah,
that goes back to the items, though. Again, that Shadow Blade, why that's going to be so key for Serenity on the Lina here, as well as the Blink, as just mentioned.
Little extra, you know, being able to sneak up, get that burst damage. I got the Yules already set up for that Light Strike Array, or what have you, to cancel out as he tries to run out, so.
Yeah, GGG is committed to that Battle Fury. Obviously already has a Perseverance finished and 2,100 gold saved up, so that will be coming. And already farming very well. Meepo, again, it's safe to say it's not been a struggle for Meepo, but it's not the most ideal Meepo game so far for Chessie. However, this could help some things. They are attempting Roshan right now. They throw the tombstone down. This is a sneaky Roshan. I believe they smoked into here, if I'm not mistaken.
They did, yeah. They absolutely smoked in there. They don't really seem to know that's going on, although, here comes the Monkey King.
Now they know.
He does, absolutely. Can they get people over here in time? Yep, we've already seen that Lina's TPing in. They're going to use that Moonlight Shadow. Do they have the detection? Going to use the Wukong command, run into that pit. They actually still going to get that Aegis over and running over here on Chessie, but it's looking not so hot right now. Still trying to beat him down here, trying to take the tomb out. They're actually going to be able to take down the Aegis, and this Monkey King, he sits too low. They're going to get taken down by Jonas. And they've got to run themselves out now. So that's an Aegis that is down. Frost jumps up over to the high ground. They get the kill over onto ZYD. And now it looks like Neil in for some trouble. Really want to get that kill on Centaur, but not going to quite find it just yet. Now it's a high-speed chase as they run after this tiny arrow gets thrown out. There's the jump forward, the stomp, the double edge. Still chasing out this time. They're using everything in the kitchen sink. And they eventually take him down. And Wyvern throws out that little bit of heal at the last second to help out the Centaur.
Absolute massacre from TFT right there. You also see the damage of Meepo with those poofs. The maxed out poof, he has 3 Meepos with him. The intense damage that Monkey King clearly didn't seem like he was ready for. All of a sudden, he gets in there late. Obviously, the Aegis was already picked up by Chessie. He got the Jingu proc in time to get the kill initially, but then as soon as Chessie came back up, he did not stand a chance. He just melted away. And overall, the Radiant squad had trouble just kind of getting in there altogether. I mean, Monkey King obviously could because of getting on the trees, but everyone else was a late follow-up. It was very scattered and ultimately did not work out at all for Serenity. So talk about gaining momentum. TFT certainly does right there. They don't have the Aegis, of course, but by all means a worthy fight that they'll gladly take.
I mean, we saw that earlier too. There was another Roche fight. I think it was the earlier game, right? That was J-Storm versus Happy Guys, where like you had this beautiful like jump into the pit, but the rest of the team wasn't ready, and they were able to just set up so nicely. I think they had a Phoenix egg that was like directly inside the pit, so no one could actually hit it from the outside. Just like you said, it was unfortunate positioning there. They just couldn't get in there fast enough. And like you said, as soon as the Meepo came back up, it was just curtains for the...
It's most certainly a hindsight thing to say too, but you do gotta wonder if Monkey King has middle lane actually.
Ooh, that leap forward though.
Around. Nice avoid from Frost, good timing. May not be done. Arrow wants to go back in, hits the curse, catches up on Phoenix right there. Arrow flying through the back lines, does hit the stun. Phoenix, though, with even a sleep coming into play, is going to be able to take Kristav away. You can tell TFT didn't want to overcommit right there. They realize it's not really worth it. Let's just back off. But as I was saying about the Monkey King, he just finished his Battle Fury now after that fight took place and everything. Obviously, a fairly expensive item when you look at the Battle Fury, 4,400 gold. You got to wonder if he did go that Echo Saber first, or even the Maelstrom, as we're talking about, has a little more value in that fight. Perhaps a different story, right? But again, it is a hindsight thing to say, sure. But again, it goes back to this Battle Fury choice on Monkey King, and will it pay off in the long run, of course? And, well, that's the idea, at least.
Look at the smoke on smoke action. It's just ships passing in the night. Actually, will spot out the Lina immediately, no? Throws out that Shadow Blade, and they've got the high ground now. They're going after this Wyvern. Can they take him down fast? They'll be able to do it. Egg comes out from the Phoenix. The toss comes out over, and they'll take down Phoenix. They're looking after him. They'll take down the Bane, and now it looks like Tiny. Again, he's on the run. It takes a lot to take this guy down, but that's a double kill coming out from Frost. Monkey King now. ZZG gonna have to run himself away. What a disaster coming out here for Serenity.
They got involved in a fight without the Monkey King. He was top lane. He started TPing as soon as the fight engaged, but he TP'd to the shrine. Still a little bit of distance away. By the time he's there, it just doesn't matter. He's already lost 2 heroes. The third fell on Tiny, and he thought about even activating Wukong's command, but at that point he was by himself, so it's a good thing he didn't. But yeah, Monkey King, unfortunately, unable to be involved. And this is that momentum that we talked about, especially that a Meepo can bring. And clearly, TFT wants to keep fighting. The Dragonlance now finished on Meepo, so really just going for those raw stats. And now has the Scythe coming along as well for even more control to look at on the Meepo here. He's level 16. We're approaching now 20 minutes into this game. For the next 10 minutes or so is now that window, I feel like, where the final tribe has to take total control and ultimately lead towards a victory. So it's a matter of Serenity. Can they hold that off enough?
You know, I thought it was looking pretty decent, too, because they have the high ground there. You know, Lina just going down, throwing down the Dragon Slave, got the Laguna off, but just all crumbled. And so things are looking really, really nice now for Final Tribe, like you said. We've got some nice items online. We've got that Ultimate Orb picked up now over on Chessie, and we just saw some nice arrows and initiations in general. So now's the time. What do you think they should do here, though? How are they going to move around the map, Breaky?
As far as Serenity goes?
No, I'm talking about...
You're talking about TFT.
TFT.
Yeah, I mean, the Death Ball, honestly, sticking together as a team, we saw what happened in the last fight. I mean, I understand Monkey King wasn't there, but especially the fact that he went for that Battle Fury, he doesn't want to fight yet. That's very evident, right? He at least wants the BKB before he wants to fight, which is almost there. He has 1,500 gold. He just needs both the Mithril Hammer as well as the recipe. Then he has that taken care of. But for this next couple of minutes, there is that opening, you could say, for TFT to engage in these fights. And you can tell they're kind of doing that here at the top lane. And they're moving up. There is still a tier 1 tower up here, of course, which they would like first. And then the next Roshan, naturally, is going to be big as well. The Final Tribe, I'm sure, going to make priority for that. But trying to use the Moonlight Shadows to find an opening. Probably just going to get the tower, though, as I don't think Serenity is going to give them a chance.
Now, I do like how aggressive they're playing, but like you said, they realize that, you know, Monkey King doesn't have any of those big ticket items. He's got that farming item. And so this is their opening because they have a lot of strength coming out with their particular draft right now. Looks like they're going to go tier 2 here, too, Breaky.
Why not? I mean,
yeah,
again, the logic still stands, right? That they understand that Serenity doesn't necessarily want to be picking these fights. They want pick-offs. They don't want to fight as a team. They want the Lina and the Tiny to find the Meepo by himself, or Mirana or whatever, which obviously TFT understands that. They're not giving them that option.
No, you still do see Z down here. He's got his eyes over on the tower. They back off a little bit, but you do see a bit of that split pushing, getting those Fiery Soul up right just in case anyone does TP. In fact, it is going to be the Meepo, so I'm not sure if we're going to see ZYD try to make some moves on this guy.
He could try. I don't think himself would be enough damage, and yeah, he understands that too. Maybe he figures, of course, somebody could be nearby as well.
Sure.
Just not worth the try at that point. Has a level 2 Laguna Blade. If you had level 3, you know, maybe. But even then, this meepo is definitely not the easiest to kill. With that Dragon Lance especially. Top lane, which is Curse. Where do they catch up here? Tiny's the one that's losing a lot of life, and he ends up going down, and they're going to keep pursuing. They also caught up to the Phoenix. I don't know if that was a hoof stomp or an error or what, but either way, you know, some fans on a killing spree, and let's go to that tier 2 tower, they now say.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. Like, so do have the backdoor protection, but in come the creeps. We'll be able to help them out here. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them actually try to go high ground right now. They're feeling good. They've got the Phoenix down. Do have the Tiny down for another, like, 20-something seconds. Oh, Wukong Command coming out, though. We'll be able to go grab. Oh, look at that balance. It hits all these different people. The Laguna Blade's coming out here. Looks like Centaur are going to be taken down. They've got their eyes over here. They'll finally be able to take down Chessie as well. And he's still going to try to run out. Jumping over here, Wyvern trying to get away fast enough. Do they have the detection on this? Yeah, they've got the sentry ward placed over on the ground. Light Strike Array is going to come out. So the toss back over onto our poor Wyvern, and she's going to get taken out.
Obviously, props to Serenity right there, but that no doubt was just complete overambitious from the Final Tribe, I feel like. They did not have a Winter's Curse back up to kind of be a savior if anything, if said jump happened. It clearly did. Monkey King was in perfect position. Yes, the buyback on Tiny helped too, but even without that, I don't know, it still felt like they were in a pretty bad spot in terms of getting jumped like they did and eventually evaporating. So throwing away a bit of that lead that they had right there, then they did not get much out of it. And Roshan could potentially be spawning in the next 20 to 30 seconds, you know, probably going to be at least a couple of minutes. We'll keep an eye on that soon. But point is, they could have had a nice opening right there to then get Roshan shortly and then try to push uphill, but they went a little bit too early. Thus, we see the backfire, and now Serenity. They have the top 2 net worth in the game still. They got Monkey King and Lina. Both are farming very well, and that will continue to come into play, specifically this Monkey King. Has the BKB now, Yasha's coming. He's only going to start doing more damage as this game goes on. That on top of the Wukongs, it's going to be tough to fight into.
Now, would you say that the window for the meepo is starting to close a little bit more now that he's starting to come more online?
Oh, absolutely. Again, I think that Wukong's command specifically is going to continue to be the biggest deal. And on top of that Tiny Lina, right, where that burst damage will always be a threat for the meepo. That's not going to necessarily change no matter how farmed meepo gets. One of those meepos will potentially be vulnerable.
Definitely true, especially if you can get the sneak on him. And then you've got, of course, the BKB now, so it's going to be even easier. But big smoke coming out here. Again, they did just pick up that BKB on the Lina, so they're hoping maybe they can find someone. Preferably, I'm guessing that meepo, but I'm sure they'd be happy with anyone at this point right now.
I actually just pulled up, I haven't really done it much this event, but I just had a curiosity pulling up the win probability myself, and it's an 84% chance favoring the Dire team right now. I'm actually a little surprised at that, despite how this game has kind of turned a little bit, but nope, stunning the Monkey King, they ate the tree down, he gets stunned as a result, but there's not any damage happening. He pops the BKB on Dying Falls, and now the Wukong's going to be thrown out. Supernova was killed off, but with that Wukong down, Chessie has to be careful, trying to run out with the one meepo. He cannot get out in time. Wyvern buys back, as does meepo himself, trying to come back into the fight. The Curse locking down Monkey King just on the end of his Wukong's command, and meanwhile Tiny trying to go through the woods and juke out from Mirana. And it looks like Serenity's find is falling back from here. They got several buybacks, including the big one on the meepo, of course.
I like how ZYD just walks right past that bounty rune. Just a little bit panicked just in case he's being chased here, but they do go right into the pit here. They're going to try to get themselves another Roche. And I think they should be able to manage this without having a big, you know, a big fight. This does have cheese as well this time, Bareki.
So the buybacks are worth it in that sense, I suppose, but I mean, that's obviously a big deal. I assume they get the Aegis to Chessie, right? Yeah. So he has the Aegis now. They hand off the cheese, as you mentioned. Looks like to Centaur for the time. But you know what I'd like to see Centaur get is that axe. I'm talking about being able to save these meepos if they do happen to get engaged on. Pop that Stampede with an axe, and of course that damage mitigation kicks in.
That's true.
So he has 1,300 gold saved up, sitting on a pipe and a 4-staff blink currently. I wouldn't be surprised if I see Yodos Fan Q that up next, though. Or Crimson Guard would also be another decent item that he could go for here. Up that mitigation, but yeah, really needs to continue to play that role. I mean, obviously it goes without saying, whenever you have a meepo especially, you're pretty much playing around the meepo here.
Yeah.
Let's save the meepo, he wins the game, is that theme. But this Monkey King continues to be extra scary as this game progresses on. Gonna go Lincoln's at this point. I assume a lot of that has to do with the Winter's Curse.
Yeah, I have been seeing the Winter's Curse mostly just holding people in place so that the rest of the team can get into position this time around. as opposed to some of the other times when we've seen some really, really nice curses and people taking them down. But oh, Monkey King, they get spotted out. There's going to be the jump forward center, going to be able to find himself the bait. But over on here, it looks like Winter Wyvern is trying to stay alive. Will be able to last just a little bit longer, but here comes that magic damage. Doesn't matter over here. Hans getting in for a lot of trouble as well now, trying to run himself out. There'll be the Icarus dive coming through. They still have the guns over here, but they'll just disengage.
Yeah, honestly, the fact he got that Cold Embrace off was a pretty big deal. He still died, but it forced a Laguna Blade out of Lina. And if she doesn't use it there, I think they might be able to catch those other Mirana or somebody else just a little bit further over and catch them with a Laguna Blade, and then obviously could have been impossible death too. So one way to look at it, but still a victory for Serenity. And they're now going to push this mid-tier 2 tower. Have a wraparound from Jonas and Fan. He's trying to find an angle. He eats the cheese. He wants to go in. You see the Sun Ray coming out on the backlines. Who did he jump right there? Looks like Bane off the bat. Meepo, he comes in as well, but Meepo explodes off the bat. That Battlefield auto attack as well as just cleave in general from the tree hits. From Tiny, the LSA hits as it comes back up the cleave of the Battle Fury. Chessie can he maybe poof in time for a turn kill quickly. He's dropping. Chessie goes down. He's dead for 100+ seconds. A triple kill for Frost though in the backlines. How about that? Frost all of a sudden trying to do what he can to be the carry for the team, but it's not enough. PYW gets a triple kill himself. Hat trick coming out indeed. Hanskin, he's going to get the Boarman's Blink Dagger thrown on him from the Monkey King, and he falls as well. Serenity, the biggest lead they've had so far.
What a fight. Oh my gosh, you see that Light Strike Array landed on every single one of those Meepos. They had so much cleave damage coming through. They really, really tried there, but just very beautiful team fight coming out from the side of Serenity during all of that. My goodness.
And that's one of those fights too, that it's only a 4,000 net worth lead, but it just feels like whenever you have this Meepo momentum again, when it gets stalled now a couple of times, the comeback from that is going to be tough. Because you look at Meepo in the item progression, he actually still doesn't even have the Scythe yet, so that's very worth noting. But ideally, when he's up in a couple of minutes, he will be able to have it, but his damage output is still honestly pretty weak right now. He has a Dragonlance, 2 Wraithbands, and a Scythe. You're not looking at a lot of physical damage right with that. So he'll start to get into that ideally as the game if it continues to go on. But I still look back at this Monkey King specifically and just how massive he's going to continue to get. And that will be the issue for TFT.
Yeah, GGG's looking so good right now. Got himself that, the BKB's coming in handy. He's got the Yasha, gonna have that Manta soon. The rest of the team all smoked up, though. They're looking for a hunt. Everyone's down in this bottom lane, though, so they're not going to find anyone in that jungle. They don't have the greatest vision either, right, coming out for the Radiant. So just going to try to back up GGG, see if maybe they'll take this bait. So the Tiny nearby has got an Arcane Rune on him.
Tiny leading the way. You mentioned that Arcane Rune. So even extra value potentially could be coming. They want to jump right here, Moxie.
Well, it's the rune time, and they know it. And that's going to be a very dead Wyvern.
That's one of those you like kind of do a double take. Wait, no, he's actually dead. Yeah, just tosses in the air and all of a sudden goes down. They're also going to catch Undying. Hanskin, I don't think you're living to this one, buddy. Laguna Blade, going to be used because why not? You have it. And that's 2 supports dead. They still have the, no way, I was going to say they still have the Aegis, but that's right. Meepo's the one that had it, and he already died in the previous fight, so. They don't need an Aegis, though. They feel very confident with what they got. The Lincoln's finished on Monkey King as they're going to push into the base now and try to break into the tier 3 at this point. On the side of Serenity. Scythe finally finished on Meepo. Has that extra control to work with. Level 15 Undying, too, as he buys back here. So at least he has that Tombstone on Death now.
That's true. I just don't know how you get in the middle of all this. Although Chessie's found a way. He jumps in right away. Gonna try to get this kill over. More Centaur. Oh, look at that damage. Look at that. Oh, gonna be able to go throw out that Icarus. Died. We'll throw out a Dragon Slave as well. But oh my goodness, they just destroyed Chessie during all of that. Egg gets used. And they'll just back off. They're pretty happy. Think about going back in again, though. We do see the Tiny coming forward. He's looking for that. There's going to be the toss-up right away, followed up with such a beautiful curse coming out, though. Might actually be able to take down Lina. It's got enough damage here. They'll throw out that Splinter Blast. Frost jumping forward. He's got his eyes over here onto the Phoenix. Are they going to be able to turn it around? Yeah, they'll get the kill. They get the stop off as well. It looks like they're going to be able to take down Bane. That's a double kill coming out for Era.
A lot of resources obviously used right there, including multiple buybacks, Undying and Centaur being a big one, but they did hold it in that sense. Although Tiny, he finds a free kill of Mirana, says hello and goodbye shortly after with that Shadow Blade opening. Is being hunted by Centaur now. Wants revenge for his teammate, but he's doing a good job of hiding in those trees. You look at the vision of the dire side, they cannot see him indeed.
Oh, and they get the courier too. Nothing on it, but definitely value there.
And he TP's way back to base. So, yeah, again, killing Monkey King was big. He happened to not have a buyback either, and something tells me if he had one, he might have actually bought back there and try to almost finish the game in that sense. But again, you look at the big picture, they still got the racks. Meepo was obviously dead at the beginning as well. That's how they killed Monkey King. He had to go really as deep as he did, which then got himself killed. Point is, Serenity, 7,000 net worth lead now, still continues to feel comfortable. Jonas is getting that Ags. Needs both the Blade of Alacrity and the Staff of Wizardry to finish it. But once he gets, I think that is one of those items that could at least help change the game here for TFT and give them at least a chance. Because there is a lot of that upfront burst once again from the Radiant side. So as long as he pops Stampede as it's happening, maybe that's the opening that TFT needs.
We just got a double damage and picked up over here on GGG, and I would love to see him just go hunting right now. He's feeling so strong. We saw how badly he just ripped apart that Meepo during the team fight with that Boundless and all that Jengu. I don't know. You think they're gripping up again? Again, I don't know. Maybe they're gonna go for a smoke. They don't have a smoke on them right now. Seems like an awful waste not to use that double damage ring for hunting, but.
I think that almost looked like they thought they had a smoke, and they were calling it like they did, but yeah, then they realized, wait a second, nobody has a smoke. So let's go elsewhere, I suppose. Check for Roshan. As you can see, it actually couldn't even be up.
Nope.
For another 30 seconds. Moonlight Shadows, Tiny's running in.
Oh boy, all right, there it is. There's the Meepo jumping forward. Light Strike Array comes in, they'll be able to get the Icarus dive up. They've got the BKB, but there's too much damage coming out. Can they still take Jesse down? They just find him right there. Still gonna just try to fight them over here in the Wukong's command. They've got that egg up as well. We'll be able to go and take down the Bane. They take down Frost. Egg's gonna pop right now. Looks like they find themselves this Winter Wyvern. They're gonna stay far apart. They don't want to get a curse being thrown on them. They'll actually be able to take it down. That's a double kill, although there's a jump forward. They've got the stomp. They'll be able to find a kill over on ZYD. And now it looks like Phoenix gonna have to TP out.
It's actually kind of interesting how this has happened now a couple of times where it's almost like Meepo's the bait. Like he's the one that they're almost accepting is just going to die as long as he does enough to help kill the Monkey King off the bat. That's now back-to-back fights, which essentially he's done that. Again, the last fight ended up still with the racks going down, and this one is a little bit better and potentially could set up a Roshan as he will be up in about 30 seconds. So by the time Meepo's up, Roshan will be up. Lena's still dead for another 20 seconds after that, and Monkey King for another 10 to 15. I wouldn't be surprised if TFT makes a beeline for that Roshan pin. In fact, Undying he already TP's in, and he is heading over there to at least check it right now. So if he's a little patient, may notice that. It is going to be close, though, if they can manage to do this this Roshan, which would be the third Roshan to remember, too.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing I'm concerned about, though, is, okay, they won that team fight, right? They won the team fight. They did lose the Meepo, like you said. It felt like they were kind of using him as that bait, but they weren't able to take an objective off of it. They weren't able to do too much off other than, they wander back, get the creeps off of their base, but...
That's what happens when you're behind, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's just, you kind of have to accept that when you are behind. It's unfortunately, you're not able to get the objectives, but naturally, if you win another fight like that or another couple of fights, and all of a sudden you are able to get those objectives. So it's a slow process that no doubt TFT is trying to work their way through, but that is the beginning of it in terms of that comeback once again. And they are going to see Roshan up now. Now, obviously, by now, everyone in the game will be up, including that Tiny, in just a matter of a couple seconds. So by no means is a free Roshan here. And they are grouped up on TFT side as if they're going to smoke. There is no vision here from the Radiant. They are going to Moonlight Shadows. And I was double checking to see the Radiant vision. They were not seen there. So this could work out, depending who they catch. Centaur finds Tiny. The Invis kicks in. The Wukong's going to be throwing down. Jonas will immediately run away. So that's going to be a wasted Wukong. So good bait there from TFT, I suppose. Yeah,
that's definitely favors the side of TFT. They don't have to worry about that because that's the big problem, right? Is that whenever they get this initiation, it just becomes that they're in the middle of everything, and then Chessie ends up just getting beaten down to death. Stacks of Jingo adding up as well, and the Boundless just evaporating him. So one less thing they have to worry about. Roche is up. Still kind of scary though to go in there. I don't know.
Yeah, there's no way you have to have a pick for sure. I mean, even if you try to smoke in, that just most certainly is too risky. They have ways for vision, specifically the Radiant side. Things like the Icarus dive in. We see Monkey King jump around the trees in the area. So don't think you could just go for it. As I say that, Chessie walks in the pit and okay, he poofs out. He might have been poofing in me, but I was like, really? But no, he's just scouting right there. It does have 3,200 gold saved up, by the way, so I'm curious to see what he gets next. But they smoke up on the uphill here on their Ancients on the dire side. and they're going to try to wrap around. So they're going to try to go for a pick first, which obviously makes sense.
Yeah, you know that they're hanging around that area. They figure, okay, they're going to want to go for this Roche pretty soon, especially knowing that it's up. But they just got to find that opening. Got to see if they can figure out where someone is. In fact, look at this Tiny. He's already doing some scouting. They actually don't have that. And there's going to be the jump forward, though. There's the BKB comes out immediately from the Monkey King. He's going to try to get himself out. He just gets a hold of Boundless coming through. They still have their eyes over here on the Meepo. Can they get it? They'll be able to take him down. They'll still be able to take down the Monkey King as well. The Meepo going to buy back right now. The Shrine coming through. Will hold them in place, though. Z coming through. He's got his eyes over here on the Mirana. So close to taking down Frost. They're going to have to be satisfied with taking down Haskin instead. And there's a big stomp coming through. Double edge. They're going to try to jump again. Meepo has bought back to this point. The Sunray coming through. It's just not going to be enough to save them. And they're going to lose both of those supports. They're going to lose their BX. Oh no. Light Strike Array coming through again. This is not looking good right now. Frost still trying to run away. Has that flutter trying to just juke, break these ankles, get out. Knows that cannot be there.
I've noticed a theme these last couple of fights, Moxie. They're really all about killing Monkey King as much as it takes, and every time it's been at the cost of Chessie's life. Now, him having the buyback was big, and Monkey King did not have a buyback, so I thought that was a huge opening for TFT, but that's the problem. It's not just Monkey King. It is the Tiny, and especially the Lina as well. As we saw right there, Lina's going to take the arrow, by the way, as they're going for Roshan.
I don't think she's too concerned about this, though, right now. She's got a lot of friends standing nearby to help her out.
Mirana, is Frost going to go for something really riskier? I mean, that would be pretty suicidal.
I don't think that's a good idea. No.
Yeah, it's going to stay back. So the Aegis is picked up by ZYD. They get the cheese, and remember, they get that refresher, which currently is being held by Tiny. See if he passes that around. But either way, the TFT's investment of just killing Monkey King at all costs, I get it, but then it's like, I don't at the same time. It just feels like they're using too much to do so. And we saw that last fight too. He even actually healed up with that Jingu, and the Boundless Strike coming out made it that much more difficult. And then the other key thing as well I noticed was they used Stampede aggressively.
Right.
And that goes back to that Ags where you're almost not necessarily taking the benefit of a big part of the Ags, which of course is that damage reduction, right? Where you use it initially, then there's maybe a little bit kicking in, but then you can't use it defensively, later on in the fight. So that was a, all-in move in a lot of ways that, in the big picture, worked out more for Serenity. And how about Monkey King too? But we are seeing 25s coming out. Let's take a quick look at that. Monkey King does go the 100 armor Wukong's command. So if he gets that Wukong's off, I mean, he is going to be near unkillable, I feel like.
All right, Big Smoke coming out. They're hoping that maybe they can get another pick off here. Maybe they can find that Meepo in the jungle too, right? He's going to be respawning very, very shortly. And of course, he's going to be looking for farm. Some nice vision getting placed down, though. Oh, Tiny. Tiny's going to find a lot of people. Tosses the Wyvern up, bursts them down immediately. There's going to be the Moonlight Shadow thrown out, and the rest of the team, they actually go and use that Centaur ulti, so it's not going to be available for this next engagement. I'm thinking that we're going to see them go after this top tower. In fact, already ZYD making that rotation.
Yeah, in the 25s, I mentioned Monkey King, but you also have it on Tiny, you also have it on Lina, so if they get their 25 talents, nobody on the Dire side has it yet. Meepo's almost there. In fact, he just hits it as I say that. He does get the 600 life over the poof cooldown, so he is a lot tankier, and honestly, that could come into play for sure. I mean, having 600 more life, we've seen how close these battles have been with him barely killing Monkey King as he dies, so you factor in the 600 more life, that most certainly could be a difference maker, but again, all the level 25s on all three cores on the Radiant side too. So they're super powered and good to go. They're going to push that top lane. Obviously, they still have the cheese. They still have the Aegis. This is going to be a tough stop here for the final tribe.
Absolutely. They've got the Refresh Orb. They've got the BKB, too, over here on the Monkey Kings. I'm guessing they're just going to try to let, Lina Siege lit this Monkey Siege. They'll follow up with, of course, the Tiny if they need that Avalanche. Because that you're going to have this reinitiation or initiation coming out from the center. Look how fast these buildings are just going down. How do you get in here, Final Tribe?
Can't. That's how. You can't, unfortunately. Yeah, they do accept the fact that these racks are going down. They're pretty much at a point they have to stop mega creeps or else the game could be over. The Centaur goes down. What a spread from Serenity. A reaction on their part, avoiding the arrow as well. Now the Fiends get locked in on Centaur. If they lose Centaur, I mean, I'm supposing he has a buyback, but either way, they are going to lose him. He buys back immediately, and they are still going for it. They're going to kill off the tombstone. At least Monkey King going to try for that. Jesse, he's thinking about going in, throwing out the Earthbinds. Not going to go, though. Wukong's canceled by Monkey King, and he gets back. They got a buyback at a Centaur. Let's retreat, they say. And Serenity will have another opening soon.
All right, so that's down to a 5-second BKB over on the Monkey King, but they're satisfied, did get that buyback. And there's only one more lane of racks here. So I'm guessing, already seeing that Z in the bottom lane going to be pushing out these creeps. I would assume they're going to be going for full-on megas just to close out this game. Although if they get themselves a really value pickoff, for example, this Meepo over here, or possibly the Mirana, I'm thinking that they would probably just run down mid at this point.
Absolutely, yeah. If they get any hero, as you mentioned, like that Mirana, especially with no buyback. She does have one, but I think the Centaur is no doubt that biggest thing. I guess Meepo also doesn't have a buyback currently, so going to push out the lanes as much as they can. And we are going to see what I like to call kind of that desperate attempt here from TFT as far as a gank chance. They pop the Moonlight Shadows. They're hoping to find somebody. You look at the mini-map, though. I mean, Monkey King's way up here at the top. He's just hiding in the trees, though. Not going to really give them any kind of opening. Waiting to see what's going on. He has an illusion pushing out the creep wave from the Manta style. And in fact, he's just going to TP out. It's almost as if he kind of knew they were coming. And he TPs out to safety. So that invis play coming up short from TFT. Looking at Meepo. I have Scotty almost done on him, but then I also see Monkey King. As you guys are looking at there, he too almost has an I have Scotty finished.
It's going to be so hard to try to move around to that Wukong's command once he gets that Scotty. Just being able to hold on to people and keep them in that ultimate is definitely going to prove to be an issue, despite the fact that Meepo already, does have his level 25 one for that extra health, like we talked about. But, Serenity just feels like they've hit this momentum and they're just going to keep on rolling with it. Yeah,
if Monkey King gets off of Wukong's now, especially with that 25 talent, you need to just avoid it at all costs, right? You can't go all in for killing Monkey King at that point. You have to get out as much as you can. But Aegis is reclaimed there on Lina. So again, a little bit of a window for TFT, but still the cheese on Tiny. And do they ever pass off that refresher shard? Yeah, it is on Monkey. That's what I was going to say, especially with the double Wukongs.
It's just got to be able to stay alive, though. That's the other thing he's got to be very, very careful of, because he's been sitting very low in a lot of these fights, right? And especially with the little bit of extra health, they might actually be able to turn the tide, so. It's a gamble if he's going to be able to get both of those off. But if he does finish up the Scotty, I think things are going to be a lot easier for him. And we do see that Lina has picked herself up a Monkey King bar, too. So it's looking very, very difficult right now for the final tribe.
Yeah, nice answer for that Mirana, who has a butterfly. Of course, middle lane, who did they find here? That's Monkey King. No Wukongs means it is death. 100 seconds, he's dead for, has a buyback, but that's the pick that TFT was looking for. Phoenix, curse locking him in play. Should eventually be the kill as a result of that. Don't think he's getting out of this one. I mean, he has a supernova, but it would just be wasted at that point. So he dies too. Yeah, Monkey King, the big one. Lina would be absolutely huge, but is going to be stopped on the Odyssey fan. So no go there. Obviously, Roshan, still a bit of time before he's up. So it's not going to lead into that at least. But this kind of goes back to what you were talking about earlier, Moxie. You get these hero kills. Now, can they get objectives out of this?
It's tough. I mean, at least this time you've got the Meepo alive, and that's going to give you a lot of damage. So that way you can take another building. You have the Mirana as well. So, I mean, it's the difference, right? Because when you get some of these... Oh, there's the jump forward coming out here from Chezzy. But the difference is when you lose a lot of these people that are putting out the physical damage, you just aren't able to get that objective going. Oh boy, wow, all right, Tiny really wants is immediately going to get hexed up though. They'll put out the Nightmare, try to save some more time. Lina, she's doing a lot of damage here. She's got her own BKB up and running. The center was looking for that opening. Winter Wyvern going to get used up into the air. They've got to miss that Light Strike array, and look at that. That Glimmer Cave coming through for the Winter Wyvern. She blinks herself out. They still are going to try to chase after center. We'll be able to just go use that stomp, and he's going to blink himself out. I think he should be free and clear. We'll also get himself a bounty rune as well.
Props to the final tribe right there, because I think the whole goal of what that was with kind of recklessly jumping in from Tiny was that he wanted them to then be like, oh, let's kill Tiny real quickly, chase after him into the base, and then that would have led into the buyback Monkey King, as we saw, towards them taking advantage of them overextending. I really think that was the ultimate goal there from Serenity, but TFT did not take the bite necessarily. They did a good job picking up on that buyback when it happened right away and immediately retreated, not going too far, as tempting as that kill definitely was to take out Tiny right there. So again, TFT continues to do the right things in a lot of ways as far as the decision making goes, but it's just a matter if that firepower will be enough in the long run. I mean, you look at the net worth, it never really has been that intimidating. It's only a 5,000 net worth right now for Serenity at this point. A lot of it, to be fair, is more on the supports, as you see. Bane, the ultimate struggle, life this game, but again, it goes back to the point, TFT most certainly a chance, understandable why they would be sticking in it at this time, but Serenity trying to find another kill themselves. They got the lead from Tiny. with that Shadow Blade. Now Monkey King leaping around. We haven't seen him use that Wukong's yet, or at least get a good one off since he's hit that 25.
Ooh, did you see Wyvern? Wyvern was looking for that perfect Winter's Curse. They are grouped up, but didn't quite get that off. Looks like they're going to just stay in the high ground on the base. Well, they're moving forward again here, Breaky. I don't know.
Roshan, minute 40 before he's up.
Oh, they keep pinging out this Meepo. They really want to get their hands on him. Jesse already poofing out. Playing it safe.
God has that Eye of Scotty as we talked about. So 3,200 life on the Meepo, now with that 600 life challenge that he got at 25. I think it's fair to say that Serenity more so is just going to ultimately wait for that Roshan at this point and try to secure the game from there. Of course, the bottom racks is what's the difference between that and Mega Creeps at this time for Serenity. So probably another minute and a half, minute or so before we'll see that taking place. Now TFT most certainly can respond. They even scan out the area near their Ancients. It is going to ping, so they know somebody's at least there. In this case, we do see the Lina, but Serenity, again, they want to do Roshan. Still not up yet, however. So they're going to be patient. We'll have to be. And that's going to be the lead towards their finish. But Frost does finish a Daedalus in the meantime. So his damage output going to continue to be bigger and better as well. It's kind of been overlooking Frost almost. Just so much focus on this Meepo once again. But Mirana's damage is pretty intense itself.
It's also scary, though, because she is fairly squishy, and they've got really good answers for squishier heroes. Over on the side of Serenity, of course, the Tiny being the main one, you know, being able to just go and get his combo off. And Lina, of course, you know, has that Laguna Blade. Definitely a force to be reckoned with, but the smoke coming around here, they've also got that Moonlight Shadow. Bane, again, going to be the first one who runs into him. They do spot him out. They should be able to get this kill. They'll be able to get the Avalanche off, though, as well. There's the Wukong's command coming out. BKB comes out from C. They could actually toss up into the air. Can they get this final hit? They take down Frost, like we said. Meepo over here on the far side. They've got the other one. They weren't expecting that, I don't think. Going to be able to go throw down that Sunray. They've still got their eyes on Chessie. Chessie trying to get himself out. He just can't run fast enough. If they can get this kill breaking, this is going to be huge. The buyback comes out from Wyvern. They want to just make sure that they can protect. There's a BKB coming out. They take him down. Buyback comes out, though. Everybody's buying back right now. Going to try to protect this base, and it looks like they're pretty satisfied with that. The Roche is back up and running. If they want to go in, they can get themselves yet another refresher.
I was going to say, protect the base. Obviously, also try to prevent Roshan from really happening. That's, I think, the biggest thing. By the way, Bane being where he was, that was the worst thing that could happen to TFT. Because yes, they got the jump and they got the immediate pick, but that's a Bane. It allowed for the ultimate reaction of Serenity, as we saw right there, to kind of play out, and then the big picture clearly working out in their favor as a result of that. So yeah, the Bane positioning mixed with the decision from TFT to kind of go for him off the bat, proving to work on Serenity's favor. How about this, though? TFT, this is not going to be a free one by any means. It's already spotted. Chess is in trouble. If Peace goes down, that could be. And the Cold Embrace saving for the time being, but now Mirana's locked out by the Avalanche as well. He leaps forward, going to battle with Lina. I don't think he's going to win that one, though. Maybe he will. Those Daedalus auto attacks adding up. Z cannot get away. They lose Lina. They lose Tiny. And Mirana's damage, a lot more intense than maybe Serenity expected.
They're still going. They get the buyback. They're not willing to give this up. They saw how close they got Chessie down here. And the rest of the team, they use that Moonlight Shadow. I feel like they want to try to go back and contest, but they're also just, you know, not trying to push their luck. They had so many buybacks that last time, and there were 2 buybacks that came out from the side of Serenity. So, I don't know. I think they still get this.
That Stampede definitely saved Meepo, by the way, of course, using that with that Ags effect, helping him to get out when they did. As you mentioned, though, Moxie, it looks like they are still going to get Roshan on the rating side, or maybe not. Arrow comes through. Obviously, TFT knows how important this is. They're not going to give it up for free once again. Curse is ready to go. See if that comes into play. Yonosapan puts that double edge out. He is dead, though. Roshan still plenty alive. Wukong's also making it very difficult to get in there. Frost, he does get a kill, trying to leap away now. Chessie, meanwhile, dealing with the Tiny, or just trying to run away, going after Bane, but the Aegis is picked up by ZYD here on Lina. The lockdown, the curse on Meepo. That's a Cold Embrace, excuse me, on Meepo. Saving it for the time being. The Aegis is popped, by the way, on Lina. She's going to be coming back up, though. And the stun from the Phoenix Ave secures the kill on a Meepo. He's dead for 2 minutes. They lose Bane, but they don't freaking care. That's 2 minutes now without Meepo. The Aegis used, but again, they still have the cheese, I'm guessing. Or maybe Undying? He was trying to go in there last second. I don't know if he thought that something might have still been there or what, but maybe the gem he picked up. Either way, he is going to die. Refresher Shard is still on Lina, as I'm seeing, and there is cheese on the ground right there, which is actually picked up on Lina. They give the shard over to Monkey King, actually. So, got the information on what just happened there at the end. But I think this is that opening that Serenity needed now to try to finish this game.
Absolutely. I mean, Meepo's going to be down for 87 seconds, 88 over on the Undying. They use the Winter's Curse, and we'll have the Stampede up, but, you know, what are they going to do, run further into the fountain right now? Yeah, this is looking real good right now for Serenity.
Well, talk about a great spot for Wukongs as well. I mean, these Wukongs have been a little iffy sometimes lately from the Monkey King as far as the placement, but obviously that's a perfect spot, right? There's no wrong Wukongs in that Roshan pit. And I think proved to be the ultimate factor in their favor.
And they do have the Aegis. Here, arrow comes in. There's going to be the immediately. They're just trying to run themselves away. They won't want to get taken down. Again, Wukong Cement coming through. The Winter Wyvern jumps forward and tries to get that curse. It doesn't exactly work. They turn back around. They'll try to hit over here onto these buildings.
Okay, I mean, Lena's dead for 2 minutes, but you still have the Monkey King and the Tiny. Yonasavan jumps in. No more Stampede to use, and obviously not much you can do in this case. Cold Embrace will prevent him from dying. But Monkey King, he clearly feels like he's in a good spot. In fact, he pops a Refresher Shard, pops a Wukongs. Naturally, Frost will leap on out, survive for the time being, but that'll guarantee the rack skill. That guarantees Mega Creeps. And now Serenity can kind of just fall back comfortably and let the creeps do their bidding for as long as they want, most likely. Hopefully not too long, but.
That was, I didn't even get to see the curse. I had some sort of like graphical error on my screen.
Yeah, that was on Alina right there.
Yeah,
she just melted
I couldn't see it. Literally melted.
Yeah.
My goodness,
Didn't matter though. In the big picture.
I mean, it could have been so much worse, though, right? If she was still alive, they could have just kept on going in.
Oh, yeah, that could have been the game, absolutely. You're all right in that perspective for sure. But it's, again, in the sense of you still have Mega Creeps for Serenity. So they got what they wanted, really. It goes back to that. Centaur hits level 25, and that's another interesting one. That gains the return aura. So there's that to keep in mind now as well.
They can use whatever they can get at this point, right?
Absolutely. And Mirana's proven to be a really effective hero as this game has gone on as well. Speaking of those Wukongs, man, obviously she has the ability to leap out of them. And Frost has been doing a great job of not only that, but positioning correctly, positioning appropriately in these fights, getting those pickoffs like in the back lines, picking off the supporting cast as much as he can, especially with the damage output. He also just got his 10-second BKB on top of that. But I think it's safe to say TFT is somewhat all in right here.
Yeah, I mean, the way that they're running down mid, it feels like this is the last hurrah here, Brady.
20 more seconds before Lena is up. Good to go. Tier 3 fortification comes out, though. Chessie losing some life already. The Wukongs put down, needs to run out. One of the Chessies, one of the Meeples is still there. Yonasavan, he also gets away with the Cold Embrace, even if for the time being. Pop that Stampede. Has worn out for the time being, though. Supernova explodes. Icarus dive forward. Frost holding his ground with the BKB activated over here. Oh, that was actually Undying, kind of sneaking back in. The Soul Ray Feel. He has a Tombstone down still. He probably is going to die in the long run again. Going to drop another one as a result. They only got the Tier 3, though, and they didn't get much more out of it. Meanwhile, back at their base, the top lane being pushed in, which Meepo's trying to take care of the best he can, and also the bottom lane, which Yonasavan is down there. So that's the thing when you're going up against Mega Creeps. You make it a little bit of a push, maybe a minor victory as far as the battle goes, but the war is still being lost as your base is still being destroyed.
Yeah, it's slowly getting ripped to shreds. That was looking really scary there. That Boundless Strike landing over on all those Meepos. It was looking like he was not going to live very, very much longer, but they managed to get themselves out at the last second. And then also you saw that there was that, what is it, the Cold Embrace that got used over onto the center, but Centaur was still in the middle of all of that Wukong's command, so that was scary. But I think someone had a Force Staff, forced him out just in the nick of time so he could try to run himself away. But this is still like, they're struggling so hard to deal with these Mega Creeps right now. I don't know.
Yeah, anyone really would, but there's a jump from Centaur, and that's a Centaur that evaporated. I had to do a double take on which hero that was, because that's not often you see Centaur melt that fast, but just like that, it's GG well played. I say just like that. Obviously, it seems like it has been in the spot for a little bit now where Serenity, it was just a matter of time before it was going to come through. So congratulations to Serenity. They are moving on to the finals, and they'll get their matchup against J-Storm as a result of that. That should be a good one, Moxie.
That's going to be an awesome match, absolutely. Oh, man, Team Serenity, they're just looking so good right now. I mean, you know, we're used to seeing ZYD over in that mid lane, ended up going over into the off, still did a great job. And then, of course, you know, having GGG, like these Wukong commands were just amazing, right, Breaky? They just totally obliterated Chessie. We said that was going to be a hard game, and it definitely was. But, you know, hats off to Chessie. He was trying, for sure.
Like I said, TFT, this seemed like they knew what they needed to do throughout the game. It's just unfortunate that the execution, not even necessarily that, just more so Serenity just played better.
Yeah.